We've gotten together here to debate on the 10 key points that the opposition has taken up on demonetization and is trying to corner the centre. Let's begin with the first one on proper planning of the demonetization scheme.
So to me, the most surprising part of the demonetization scheme was the fact that you discontinued or made a currency not legal tender without printing a single note of the rupee 500 currency. That was the most surprising part to me. And if that had been dealt with some advanced planning, if there was some stock of that currency, I don't think we would see the kind of crisis that we are seeing in the markets today. Essentially, there is no intermediate currency between 100 and 2000. And because of the shortage of 500 rupee notes, the queues are just endless right now.
Absolutely. In fact, 500 rupees and also 100 rupee notes, right, Anshuman?
See, the demonetization is a process comes out of the contingencies only, in exigencies. It's not a normal disruption which an economy takes place. If you buy the government idea, they can keep it secret like that only, without advance printing, without telling to the banks. But the whole challenge is that they have not anticipated the kind of unintended consequences you can take when you take out 86% of the running currency from the system and how it is going to unfold. So you can see that this is because of the lack of the planning. Since the announcement of the decision at the 8th of this month, every day they have rolled back something and they tried to change it mid-course correction.
They showed agility in responding to the situation.
So that mid-course correction is actually on, and still from the today they have decided to give money to farmers.
That's what the problem is. They've been more reactive than proactive. Let's go on to the next point. Well, the allegation is that 60 people are dead due to demonetization scheme. I think that's highly debatable. We cannot link deaths of these people specifically to demonetization. Rajiv, your thoughts?
As much as it is sad to see the deaths of people, but I don't think all of those could be attributed to the demonetization scheme. There could have been instances where people were standing in the queue and they had a heart attack or they had a blackout or things like that. But clearly, besides the sad demise of people, there is no doubt that it has caused enormous hardships to
huge upheaval
to people across the country.
Normally people don't go to the banks in this manner. Since because they think that they have been controlled, their expenditure has been controlled, their currency, they cannot use the currency, so this is like that. And second thing is that a country where 49% of the population is unbanked, people are not using cashless methods, and a lot of expenditure goes into the cash. The bigger problem is that even the common middle class have never expected that their cash security will go.
There's a whole generation of Indians who don't know or who never experienced the idea of going to a bank to withdraw money, because
so
we were
there are two types of the people. One type of the people who have got cash as a contingency in their home, because habitually India looks for the cash as contingency. And the second part of the people who have actually dependent on our digital money, so they're not carrying the cash at their pockets. So the two different poles are actually getting challenged by this demonetization. Right. One person having cash in the pocket and got wasted, they'll have to go for the exchange. Other person does not have cash in the rupee.
Let's move on to point number 3 on could this be almost like the Great Recession that America faced in the 1920s? My take would be no. The situation is not as grim. We are going to see growth slowing down in the next 2 quarters, but things are not as bad, or they should not get this bad.
I would agree that I don't think it could be as much of a financial crisis, or it could cause as much of a financial crisis as the Great Depression of the US. But yet, we are seeing there is enough evidence. If you see in the markets, automobile sales, the bookings are down almost 50%. Two-wheeler sales bookings are down 50-odd%. If you look at consumer durable sales, they have flattened. FMCG, there is offtake is much lower. The Kirana stores, people are beginning to take wallets, but if you look at the chains like Big Bazaar and all, on the contrary, they are seeing greater jump in sales. So it's a bit of a mixed bag.
Sure.
And you'll only see the impact of this over a quarter, because this is a 15-day thing and things are only improving by the day.
Hopefully things are improving. Let's move on to point number 4. The opposition is saying supply side is going to be hit and inflation will increase in the coming days. I see food inflation increasing, at least in the short term. However, as per my conversations with economists, this move is going to be disinflationary and could also lead to deflation eventually, which is low inflation, low growth scenario. Rajiv, your thoughts?
So I frankly don't think that it's going to be inflationary. I think even if you take the typically about 20 to 25% of the currency which will never come back into the banking system, and that gets eliminated, that by itself is a measure which will not lead to any inflation. In fact, it's going to be deflationary. But there will be areas where there has been some disruption, and those are largely because of the cash crunch. And I think by the fourth week or third week or end of third week or the fourth week, I think that would also go away. So it may not extend to the end of the quarter, or probably the next quarter.
The challenge is that there are a lot of logistical issues have also started coming up. So you will see a neighborhood inflation coming up, which is rising from a mom and pop store, your grocery walas, your vegetable vendors, precisely because of the short of supplies and logistic breakdown which has taken place because of the cash crunch. Generally, if you see it in a broader macro picture, this is definitely a disinflationary step because the demand will be going down. But you'll have to see the other side of the story. If the withdrawals is kept limited for a longer period of the time,
right,
which are most likely, then you will see the shortage of goods and lesser money, lesser goods, and then we can see this complication.
Next point, GDP will be impacted and unemployment will increase. A whole host of opinions out there on how much the GDP will be hit. The consensus is on the fact that GDP will take a hit. We are looking at the growth slowing down by 0.5 to 1 percentage point in the next 2 quarters. Would be even more. Ambit Capital has taken a very, very harsh view of the Indian economy. They are expecting growth to slow down to 0.5% from some 6% in the first half of this year. Yes, so GDP will be impacted, definitely. Unemployment will increase if production takes a hit.
I think unemployment has already been hit in the informal sector. If you look at it, there has been a lot of layoffs in the informal sector. Even in the formal sector, we've seen L&T deciding to take out 14,000 people out of their
But can we attribute that to demonetization?
Not really.
Yeah,
Not really. But it's a net effect of a lot of things, and it's probably come to a pass where they have to take a call and they have to decide. But informal sector, there has been enormous amount of unemployment because corporates do not have the cash to pay pay the employees, and they are not even sure how long this crisis will go on.
GDP hit will be severe because we will have to see it in terms of if the 85% money in circulation gets wiped out, it creates a lot of sentimental challenge into the business environment. One is that no cash available, all the credit system of the trade has gone for a toss, and second, a lot of investment plan, borrowing plan, expenditure plan got postponed. And it looks like that government will have a huge task to revive this sentiment, and how they'll revive it, how soon the revival will come, from where this 9,000 crore rupees which is going out of the system will soon come back. So probably even if this not hit up to the 2% at 1.55% or 150 to 200 basis point, the recovery must become longer.
Point number 6, artificial drought created by the Modi government for the farmers. Absolutely yes, I agree completely, because after 2 years of drought, finally we had a good monsoon and things were looking good for the farmers. But the timing of this move is so significant. It directly impacts the farmer community. Large portions of India were going to get into the sowing season. Punjab, however, it's done, but in West Bengal, sowing was about to begin. So this is definitely going to have an impact. However, if the government, and we've seen some measures that have been announced to ease that farmers can use old notes to buy seeds, so that might contain the damage somewhat.
Yeah, so that has been the demand of the farming community right from the 9th of November in the morning, and the government was being very bullheaded about the fact that they didn't allow it.
Yeah.
Yet another reason finally that they relented. But the fact is that implements also have to be allowed.
That's right.
You have to allow fertilizers as well, and that's another ongoing demand. But it's already been delayed. I think sowing season has already been delayed by about 10 days. If it goes another week or 10 days, I think you're practically looking at a crisis over there.
A huge damage.
But I see that the hit will be much more on the urban and economy than the rural economy, because precisely because the two things is that majority of the part of the areas of sowing has already got completed, so they have managed to that. Second, since sowing in a rural area takes with a lag and people get prepared for themselves, so they've done a lot of preparations. The only challenge which they're going to face is right now is the fertilizer consumption, because seeds are already been purchased, labor has already already been booked. The fertilizer supply may have a hit, and if they don't have money, they'll have a problem.
Number 7, no big amount of black money will be unearthed by this move.
So I would say that we will have to see till the end of the quarter and see the advanced tax collections. That will be a great indicator. We'll have to see till 30th December how much money that was in circulation actually comes back into the system. That will be a great indicator. So you can say unearthed or extinguished. There will be a lot of money that will be extinguished, and a lot of money that is being converted at 50%, 60% into the newer currency is also black money, evaporated.
Merchants, vendors, small traders. We've heard reports of income tax officials going out there and targeting the trader community. I think, of course, this is also part of BJP's plan to move away from being called a party of traders to being called a party for the poor. So this probably...
So that was expected. If you have to target black money, you have to attack at least target the small traders, the small businessmen, because there are, for a country of our size and our population, to have only 2% of the people paying taxes is all actually shameful. So it was inevitable. It had to happen. And I think the trading community realizes this. And I think the advanced tax collections are going to reflect this. And the next attack is going to be on the real estate market and the Benami properties.
Yeah, that's
and gold and diamond and other holdings of precious metal beyond your known sources of income.
Sure.
This is the risky area we are venturing in. What I am seeing is that a lot of Inspector Raj coming at the follow of the demonetization, and that is the big challenge. We were actually expecting there will be minimum government, there will be minimum intervention to the life of the common traders. There will be a lot of technology will come to them, not the taxman at their lower step. The way demonetization is taking place, definitely after the demonetization process will come complete, income tax department will start searching accounts.
The last allegation is NPS of corporate houses waived off. Government is supporting big corporate houses. I think it's this allegation is more political than holding any
so
validity.
it's a populist allegation, and recovery of loans from the corporate houses was a major initiative that was started in Raghuram Rajan's tenure. He followed it up for 3 years of his tenure, and it's been something that the government has asked RBI to pursue, and RBI has asked the banks to pursue. And as far as waiving of loans is concerned, even if the loan is waived off or written off from your balance sheet or balance sheet of the bank, it doesn't necessarily mean that the cases against that corporate house will stop. The corporate house will still have to be answerable to, or will have to pay back whatever loans that the banks can recover through the asset sale or through takeover of that company. So those cases that will continue even if the loan is waived off.
This is a counter rhetoric to the cleanliness rhetoric of the politics, which is very much expected. But NPA is a reality of the day, and we know that the majority of NPA is in the big corporate accounts. What I see is that from the NPA side, that definitely the NPA recovery has got a huge hit because of the banks have been got involved into the cash transactions and management.
But there have also been reports of how SMEs are coming up and paying their loans.
And also banks are expecting that NPA might rise because there is a serious downturn coming to the business. So that this is the reason RBI has decided to increase the repayment schedule for 60 days, because definitely banks are expecting their NPAs and non-performing loans, especially in the retail and SME sectors, will go above during the demonetization time.
Alright, so with that I think it's a wrap.
Thank you.
Most of the allegations, I think the consensus was that they are more populist, more rhetoric driven actually. However, there are some points that the opposition is making which the centre should consider.